Being a voice for cyclists in the Taupo community while also encouraging people to get active, here to tell us more is BikeTaupo Advocacy representing Taupo District.
Afternoon, everybody. We've all been eating too much, and BikeTaupo is about getting people moving. So, do stand up.
Stand up, everyone. Stand up if you can.
Unless
please.
you're on crutches, you can stay sitting down. Okay, now having a look around the room, everybody stay standing who biked or walked to school as a child. Stay standing. Have a look around. I wonder...
Wow, that's really interesting, you know. Kath, I wonder if there's a real link we can prove about biking and walking to school as a kid and becoming a successful community volunteer later on in life. Look at that. You're allowed to sit down. Unfortunately, today, the kids don't walk and bike to school as we used to. And years ago, this was really the main reason behind BikeTaupo. 10 years ago, a bunch of us got together and worked out how can we get bums back on bikes. None of us really wanted to spend a lot of time in our spare time writing submissions and going to council meetings. So we thought there must be a better way. So the first idea we came up with is having fun. Because if you have fun doing something, you keep doing it. And the idea was to get adults back on their bikes and enjoying themselves.
hang on, adults, why not kids, Thomas?
Oh, kids, they instinctively know how to have fun on their bikes, especially on their bikes. And it's the young parents who are now haven't biked to school as kids, have a real fear of the traffic, and that's the ones we want to get back on their bikes. So we thought if we build safe off-road tracks for them to enjoy themselves, they might actually leave the car at home next time they go to the dairy or take the kids to school. The other big initiative we wanted to do is solve problems. We didn't want to create any more problems. We had plenty 10 years ago with walkers and cyclists sharing the same track, which is the Hooker Forwards Walkway, New Zealand's probably most walked walking tracks. So our solution back then was to build a parallel track. And the same in the Wairiki Forest, we had conflicts with horses, walkers and bikers sharing the same tracks. So our solution was to build tunnels and bridges and keep them separated. So by the way, this tunnel on the screen is actually a piece of equipment we borrowed from the local geothermal power station. It works really well.
How do you do all this, Thomas? It costs a lot of money.
Well, we started off with $20,000 from the Taupo Moana Rotary Club, and with the enormous volunteer help, we built a track that would have cost at least $60,000.
And today, a lot of the volunteer workers in administration, with lawyers and accountants and engineers and consultants, are actually volunteering their services. They get the funding so we can use contractors to do the construction and the maintenance, and this makes a lot of work for people in the district. These professionals volunteer their expertise because they love to ride and they can see the big picture of getting people out there.
And the initial idea of getting people back out on their bikes riding has completely snowballed. There's thousands of visitors now from New Zealand and overseas coming to town to enjoy those tracks. And the local businesses and councillors now sitting up and listening to BikeTaupo. And they can see all sort of benefits we didn't even think about 10 years ago.
Now the whole community has taken ownership of the BikeTaupo track network. This was made very clear when storms in April last year wiped out 90% of all our tracks. We thought it would take months and tens of thousands of dollars to repair that sort of damage. Pine trees don't stand up in winds.
So we sent out a quick email and put a note on our website for a working bee and hoping to get at least 1 or 2 tracks open again. And when we turned up on Saturday morning, what a surprise. We just couldn't believe our eyes. There were so many volunteers out there with chainsaws, axes, rakes, bare hands, getting stuck into clearing what was their tracks.
Half the people we didn't even know. We'd never seen them at meetings, but obviously they felt that they owned those tracks and wanted to have fun on them again. And it was great fun clearing them too. And good old Murphy's Law, a big storm last Tuesday brought down hundreds more trees. people have contacted us wanting to know if they can still come for a ride. They've come all the way from Australia and want to ride our tracks. So while Thomas and I and Rick are here eating too much, the other volunteers are out there, hopefully, with their chainsaws and making it all clear again. We might even be off the hook this time, Thomas.
Yeah,
It could be
I
all
think
done when
we'll
we
be
get back.
lucky. So seeing that enormous community support gave us a huge boost for the current project we've got on, which is the Great Lake Trail. With 10 years of hands-on experience of track building and busting through red tape,
We were now ready for the National Cycle Trail project. We are the only true volunteer group who are successful in the funding application to build part of New Zealand's cycle trail. We feel very honoured to be trusted with millions of dollars of your money to get the job done.
But yeah, don't worry, the money, your investment is in really good hands, because we've got some of the country's best track builders building in one of the most scenic places in New Zealand with enormous help from volunteers. And when we're done, New Zealand will have another unique attraction for everyone to enjoy. And we might have mentioned money a few times in this presentation, and Mayor Rick will elaborate a little bit more about the economic impact on this. But honestly, for us volunteers, it's not about the money at all, it's about the people. And what powers us volunteers, apart from trust power, is the smiles on people's faces we see through all that. And in the end, if our dreams come true and we get everyone having fun again on their bikes on a regular basis, they will be happier, healthier, friendlier with each other.
And the world will be a better place. Here's Rick.
Thank you, folks. BikeTaupo advocacy is the one single best thing that has ever happened in time immortal for the Taupo district, as far as I'm concerned. Starting 12 years ago, two people having a cup of tea, now number over 1,500 registered volunteers building and maintaining these tracks. So for volunteers, 10 out of 10. For resources, they pinch and steal and beg and borrow anything they can, another 10 out of 10. And of course, they use the natural resource of the iconic Taupo district. They even dig tunnels out that transit have closed up years ago that go under highways without permission. They get me to ask for permission after they've done it retrospectively. I still haven't got permission, but they're being used. They use the principle JBDI, just bloody do it. And when they ring up on the phone, they don't introduce themselves. They just say, hey, JBDI, and I know who I'm talking to. It even moved Kath to move from Kapiti to Taupo. She was so keen on her biking up stakes with her husband and family. They came to me for $1,000 not so long ago to build a presentation for something like this. They did a brilliant presentation. I found that it cost nothing, and they put some more boardwalk down with my $1,000 bucks. The impact on the district is truly immeasurable. We have been on the front covers of magazines in England. Biking magazine, it had Taupo tracks trashed. We get bike magazines on the eastern seaboard of Australia. We have Australians coming over all the time, and we don't mind them because they got money in their pockets. And they come over all the time. So it's truly amazing what they do out there. They go out to the generators. They tell the people on the gates that they had permission to take these pipes, and they let them in, and away the pipes go. So resourceful people you're dealing with here. And as we just said, big storm this weekend, be cleared by Easter.